Hi golfers, Nick here from Nick Taylor Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week on Golf Tips, we're going to take a look at the stack and tilt golf swing with the driver. Okay, pretty good shot again. Definitely take that shot. Just down the right, drawing back towards that line. Pushed out there to 298, so just starting to warm up there, but again, see the pattern, ball starting out to the right, drawing back towards that target line. It's a question that gets asked quite a lot about the stack and tilt golf swing and using the driver. The fundamentals of stack and tilt are a little bit easier applied with the irons, controlling where the low point of the swing is, hitting the ground after the ball, but applying it to the driver, some golfers do struggle a little bit with that. So today's video, we're going to first of all take a look at the setup for the stack and tilt golf swing with the driver. Then we're going to take a look at the different checkpoints in the swing from a couple of different angles. Plus, we're going to take a look at some club data just to help you guys out there that are struggling with the driver. Golfers, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you want to learn a little bit more about the stack and tilt golf swing. I've got videos coming out every week, plus live streams every Sunday. So let's first of all take a look at the setup from my point of view. So you can see my feet are flared out here. My left heel, as described before, is on this line here in line with the ball. This is like the swing center where the left shoulder is. This is where the club changes direction. Talked about this in last week's video, learning the stack and tilt golf swing, but the swing moves around in an arc, kind of following these lines. The ball position on the driver is placed on the tangent point of the left shoulder. This is the point where the club changes direction. So when you have the ball behind this point, it's easier to swing more outwards at the ball. When you have the ball further forward, it's easier to start swinging more across. So the further forward you have the ball, the easier it is to slice the ball. The further back you have it, the easier it is to draw the ball. But with the driver, we want to actually hit the ball with loft. We want to get that ball up into the air with low spin. So we have the ball further forward and in line with the tangent point of the left shoulder. If we had the ball too far back, it might help us draw, but we probably wouldn't hit the ball very far. Also, by having the ball on the tangent point, it helps us swing straighter into the ball. So we want to be swinging 2 or 3 degrees into out, and we want to be quite level with the angle of attack. So today's video, we're going to take a look at the setup, how to help you guys swing a little bit on the inside and not hit downwards on the golf ball. That's one of the biggest issues that I see. Golfers get too steep with the driver. So let's take a look at the setup for the driver for the stack and tilt golf swing. So we talked a little bit there about the ball position, which we're going to take a look at on the video in a second. A good starting point for the tee height would have the top of the club halfway up the ball. So I think a lot of golfers do maybe tee the ball up too high with the driver, but with the driver we want to be quite level with the angle of attack. We don't want to be hitting downwards excessively or upwards excessively. Let's first take a look at the setup for the driver and how that differs a little bit with the irons. So first of all, we stand a bit wider with the driver. With the irons, we're going to be a lot narrower. When you set up, I use these grid lines in practice to help me set up properly, but a good indication would be to have the left heel pretty much in line with the golf ball. We don't want that ball inside of the left heel. We don't want it excessively outside. That's going to make it very hard to draw the golf ball. The further forward you have it, the more across you're going to swing. The further back you have it, the more into out you're going to swing. But potentially, the harder it is to launch the golf ball. When we take a look at the setup from the side view, our arms are just stretched out slightly. They're not quite hanging down like they were with the iron. They're just slightly stretched out. And also with the driver, we're going to stand further from the ball. So this club is on a different angle. This is going to help us shallow out the swing a little bit. When you stand closer with a more upright club, the natural swing plane is a little bit steeper. So by using a driver, we stand further away, the club is flatter. That's going to make it easier for us to swing around our body. When we set up with the feet, we have them turned out and the knees turned out. That's going to help us rotate and take stress off the joints. And the handle position is just slightly forward of the club head. I'm not excessively forward. I haven't got the handle too far back either. Just slightly forward. I'll probably have the handle here on the inside of my left leg. Next thing we need to try and make sure we do correctly is set the weight properly. So when you set up, if I just take a normal stance here, where my shoulders are pretty much stacked over my hips, what I want to do now is just bump the hip forward. A lot of golfers with the drive, they start tilting backwards too much with the shoulders, and that can potentially change the swing direction and make it a lot harder to hit the golf ball consistently with the driver. So as you set up, stack the shoulders on the hips and bump the hip forward to give you a slight side tilt. So it feels like I've got about 60% of my lower body weight on the left side at setup. So just to recap there guys, ball position, left shoulder or left heel, handle slightly forward, Stack the shoulders on the hips, bump the hips forward, slight side tilt, arms slightly reaching from the side view, head looking down at the golf ball. Now we're ready to hit the driver. So I'm going to hit a few shots here, guys, just to give you a little bit of idea about the club data. So using Pro V1 golf balls, I've got the TaylorMade Sim 10.5 degrees. Let's hit some shots, take a look at some launch angles, spin rates, swing path, club face, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the data that we expect with the stack and tilt golf swing. So when I set up here, I know this ball's going to draw, so I just open the club face a little bit just to help it start right. So I've got a pretty straight hole here, so let's hit a shot, standard swing, and then we're going to take a look at the data. Maybe slightly out the toe, but pretty good goal shot, I'll take that. So it started just down the right, starting to draw back, distance wise not bad, about 280 yards. Let's wait for the data. I think that may have been slightly out the toe, but I'll take that. I remember I opened the face a little bit just to help it start right. Probably hitting it slightly on the toe helped that as well. The club path 2.9 degrees into out. The club face is 2.2 degrees open. That helps it start right. Plus the contact you can see was slightly high toe. I actually hit 0.9 degrees upwards on that shot, and it launched around 15 and spun around 2,500. So pretty good shot. It hit the middle of the fairway, so I'll definitely take that. Let's talk a little bit about the golf swing now and what sort of movements that you want to try and feel. Now in the golf swing, one of the biggest issues I see with the driver would be golfers that start flexing the arms. It's very hard to have consistent contact doing that. Now in the swing, once I've set up correctly, I'm going to feel like my left shoulder here moves downwards, and this gives me my scent to my hands. I think a lot of golfers, they sort of whip the club back inside, especially when they're trying to learn the stack and tilt swing and they're trying to draw the golf ball. They sort of whip the club too much on the inside. Now as I swing back, I'm feeling my shoulder moves down. That gives me my scent to my hands. I'm feeling like I'm keeping my arms pretty straight here. I'm not flexing them, I'm not trying to overswing. So let's hit another shot here, and then we can talk a little bit about the downswing and the follow through. Okay, similar shot there, just staying down the right hand side. Again, may have felt a little bit off the toe, but it's okay. It's just down the right hand side of the fairways in play, which is the most important thing. We've talked a little bit there about the setup, we talked a little bit about the feeling and the backswing. Now, if you've not seen the videos I've done recently talking about the hand path, because I think that's really important, we're not going to dive into that too much today. I'm just going to help you guys a little bit with the body movement as we swing through to help you shallow out the contacts and the reason why we don't hit downwards like some people think we do in the stack and tilt golf swing. Now on the downswing here, what you'll start to notice is as I come down is my knees will start to regain flexion, but then I'll start to push up and forward with my hips. So this raises the butt of the club, this shallows out the contact. If I kept my belt level and didn't push forward and just turned, then I would potentially get quite steep on it. But I'm actually shallowing it out by straightening my legs, raising my belt, pushing my hips forward as I go through, tucking my hips under my shoulders as I go through with the driver. That's what shallows out the angle of attack. Combined with the club path and the hands working around the body, I'm raising my belt buckle, giving that ascent to the hands. That's raising my left shoulder here and the butt of the golf club as I go through. Let's hit one more. Take a look at the club data. Okay, so better hit there, probably more solid out the middle, pitched 270 odd. So that one's gone out there to about 293. So better shot there, pretty straight. So you can see so far the pattern has been either a little push or just a little draw. Let's take a look at that data. So club path was 2.3 degrees into out. The club face is 1.2 degrees open to the target, but around 1.1 degree closed to the path. That's what gives it the draw. The angle attack was 1.1 degrees upwards, the launch was 13, and the spin was 2,200, and the contact was pretty good. So that's why that ball went a little bit further. It was more out of the middle of the club face. Just to finish up here, guys, let's hit one more shot. So ball position, left heel, basically on my left shoulder. Stance, a little bit wider than it is with an iron, and the feet and the knees turned outwards. The arms are just slightly stretched out. The hand position is just on the inside of the left leg. Club face slightly open to my target line just to help start that ball a little bit out to the right. Now when I set up, the key thing here is just bumping my hips slightly forward, just give me that slight side tilt. I'm not leaning back like this. Then in the backswing, the left shoulder gives the ascent to the hands, and then I'm pushing up from the ground, raising my belt, giving me that side tilt through the ball to shallow out the club path and the angle of attack. Okay, pretty good shot again. Definitely take that shot. Just down the right, drawing back towards that line. Pushed out there to 298, so just starting to warm up there, but again, see the pattern, the ball starting out to the right, drawing back towards that target line. It's pretty close to a perfect shot for me, so 2.2 degrees into out of the path, club face 0.9 degrees open to the target, but around 1 degree closed to the club path. The angle attack 1.8 degrees upwards. The launch angle was 15 degrees and the backspin about 2,200. The contact there, we're just slightly higher on the face that time, but a pretty straight shot. Definitely take that one. So it just gives you a little bit of insight there, guys, into the stack and tilt golf swing with the driver. Interesting, 2 or 3 degrees into out. The angle attack on average was around 1 degree upwards, which is probably quite surprising for a lot of you. Obviously we talked in the video there about the things that help shallow out the angle attack. Interesting to note that the tour players actually hit downwards 1.5 degrees. So it's a comment I get asked a lot that you shouldn't hit down with the driver. Well, the tour players do hit slightly down with the driver, and I just showed you there using the stack and tilt system that I hit up 1 degree with the driver. So thanks for watching, golfers. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments on that, post them in the box below. I'll see you again next week for another video on golf tips. The most